ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ombima, and these are my co-hosts,
Biko
and Zagya.
and we are coming to you live from the Ella Gardens, which is opposite the Acacia Hotel on the Ochengoneko Road in Kisumu. Our podcast today for the Grassroot podcast is about education. Now, what is education? I think education is learning about critical thinking skills, but that's my opinion. Gentlemen, Biko, what do you think education is all about?
Well, for me personally, I tend to think of education as a way of acquiring knowledge that can be applied to bring a difference in the community.
Absolutely.
It's not just about it's not limited to it's not limited to the classroom.
Exactly.
But it's basically what the
You
knowledge
can use
that you
outside.
have. You can use it outside.
Related to society.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Zage, what is your take on education?
Me, I
Or
believe
what kind of education would you want? I know you're a family man. So what kind of education would you want your kids to have?
education, as we are saying it, nimesema ni kitu tu ya kuenlighten society. Like to make your children just to be exposed. Because big, illiteracy wanasemanga ni disease.
Exactly.
Yeah, illiteracy wanasemanga ni disease. It makes someone amidst your age mates like unakaa tu uko odd. So you need to make yourself like you fit in the society.
Completely.
Yes, like you have to be exposed. So education actually exposes individuals. I will love my family. I will love my children to be that much educated.
Exactly.
Anytime, any day.
I think also, in fact, it reminds me of the words of a total man who used to exist in a previous government. And he said the biggest crime in this world is being poor. So I think without an education, you are actually inviting poverty.
To some extent, I agree.
Yeah.
So it's criminal in today's world to lack in education.
Yep, that's very true.
That is true.
Even the criminals are educated.
Society is progressing.
Exactly.
Without education, man, you're off the grid.
Absolutely.
And I think it also sort of justifies the irony whereby you find our forefathers way back when they never used to have the modern sense of education in a classroom. It used to be very customary, but still they would excel perhaps even better than we, who are quote unquote in a more civilized world. So basically, education is just, it's all rounded. It's how you use your exposure, how you use your knowledge, and how you relate with it in society. In society.
Absolutely.
Yeah, remember you agree that majority of networks that we make, growth that we have, without education, sometimes it's very difficult to access certain points.
Quite so.
And that's why every parent, every person, kila mse will want their children
to have a proper education.
Yeah, to have a proper education.
So basically also the education that you get from the time you start going to school is also the networks that you build.
Yeah.
What are your networks that you build as you grow older?
Remember your fellow students that you are in class, all of them. Nobody's stalls, nobody remains where they are. So kila mtu ana progress.
Completely.
So at one given moment in life, you're going to meet these brothers and sisters you're schooling with, but in different levels. Now that you build a network, so that's what I'm saying. Education helps us to build networks to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then it meets the purpose. So what is it now? These guys who fell out of class, these guys who stopped. Does it mean that they're now left out?
No. In fact, you see, like there's this school of thought where like the top or the let's say the richest guys in the world, the billionaires, people like Richard Branson, the guy who owns also IKEA. Richard Branson, he quit school. He quit school in high school, and he's a billionaire. He owned Virgin and Virgin Airlines, Virgin Music. You see, even the guy of IKEA, he quit school in high school, and yet he became a billionaire.
Yeah.
So I think they had the basics of how, to learn and study. And then when they reach high school, probably they realize that that's not really for them. And the world has got more to teach them than inside a classroom.
Yeah.
That's true.
So still the world still can offer education.
Much more.
Yeah.
And the world is rich.
Yeah. So you're speaking about entrepreneurship.
Elim dunia.
In that kind of field, yeah. So elim dunia.
Asiyafundishwa na mamake.
That is it. That is it. Yes.
Kabisa.
Yes, Mvim.
So I think now education and equality. I think in today's world, when I think of education and equality, especially gender equality, women are empowered. You see, women are empowered. So what a man can do, a woman can do. Sometimes even better. You see. So women are empowered by education nowadays. That women are able to be CEOs of companies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also women are now much more recognized as leaders because of education, which I think in today's society has made a big difference.
It's a milestone.
Yeah.
It's a milestone towards gender equality.
Yep, it's a great achievement.
It's a great
Exactly.
achievement. Though, what a woman can do, a man can do is debatable.
It's very controversial. Yeah, that's true.
It is debatable.
But I think there's some things women can do better than men. In as much as
Absolutely.
maybe a man can do them.
You see,
And also vice versa, there are things that men can do better than women, in as much as also women can be able to do those things.
Which is
True,
true.
true.
So I think what brings these two things together is actually education.
Education.
Having the ability to to capitalize more on strengths rather than just having this mindset of what person A does, person B can do. But we should look at it in terms of optimum, in its optimum levels. Like if a man can do something better than a woman, then a woman should definitely do something that she can do better than a man.
exactly.
Yeah, it still boils
It's
down
kind
to...
of education is kind of leveled the playing field.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is true, but it still boils down on strength and skills.
Yeah.
Because you realize somebody is an expert in one line, the other person is another expert in another line, despite the gender.
Absolutely.
Despite the gender.
Yep.
Yeah, now that brings this topic. You see, now that we are in education, I think we can try to delve into this issue that our former deputy president has just realized it's a topic. It's a hot topic right now. Everyone's
trending.
discussing. It's trending. Everyone's discussing about it.
Exactly.
Now others tribalize it. Others say that he was tribal when he brought in the idea that people need to be students need to be
Educated.
posted. To
Where-
schools that near to where they are, something like that.
And the aerial postal code, where they come from.
Where they come from.
So if you're not from a certain postal code, zip code, then you're not allowed to go there. So for example, if you grew up in Kisumu, you're not allowed to go and be educated in Central.
Yeah. No,
Or some, that's what his message seems to have been saying.
according to me, it's a good discussion, despite the fact that he brought it on. Majority of pastors are saying vile alileta hiyo story ni kama inakuwa ni alileta nikaa tribal because given the place alikuwa naongea.
Exactly.
But do you know it's a sober discussion? He says they've struggled to make the schools in their region.
Absolutely.
They've to some extent they were even sourcing resources to build those schools.
Fair enough.
So they feel if during the placement of these students being put in going to these schools that are in their region, there need to be some sort of fairness. Yeah, if I feel bad that the deputy president spoke something that is hitting me, somehow I will suggest that then our leaders in our regions should also have, it's a good topic, they need to have schools that everyone can be proud of. Of course, I'm not saying where we come from, for instance, Kisumu, majority of schools are from this side are good schools. Actually, you realize now that the result was released. I know, despite the fact that it's a pitia sana, but you find that majority of those schools that are even from our region are performed well. The performance is always in a linganisho na ile the facilities that are in those schools. So I still believe in our side here. We still also have good schools. We should not tribalize this statement though, but we also have good schools like compared to the schools that are also from Central. Yeah. So I think I think that majority of persons ni kama walimchukua out of context somehow. But according to me, I feel that is a better discussion. It's a good discussion that everyone needs to have.
I believe that schools have the right to better themselves.
Yeah.
Like give better quality education and facilities.
Yeah.
That is a given. But also now the selection of now students who go to that school, it's according to how well you did in your exams.
Yeah. That's true.
So like I think from now they have this CBC, but before CBC is being before CBC is actually in place, they have the 844.
Yes,
So they have the standard 8 exams, right?
Yeah.
So from standard 8 exams now, that's when you, according to where you chose. Yeah. Now, if you've got good grades, you can go to a school in Central.
Yeah.
So those schools in Central or whichever schools in the country, they have the right to receive students who have passed well in the
Yeah,
exam.
Yeah, that
that's
is
true.
true. No, that
Otherwise,
is very true.
because every school wants to do better or they want to have good grades.
Yes.
So if you just limit a school to just have students from one area,
Yeah.
their grades may not be the best. They may not have the brightest students.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to funding, they cannot justify having that funding.
That is true. And then we
Yeah.
don't make it. It doesn't have a national outlook.
Absolutely.
It may appear.
It's become
It's too
now-
localized.
It's too localized.
Yeah.
And we know what we're fighting. We realize the diversity.
School than a national school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, diversity is very important.
Exactly.
Remember the regions where every tribe, actually, it's also said, those who develop an area are not members of the same region.
Completely.
Now, what makes a school excel is not even majority of the students that even come from that region. So, which means we need to have a national outlook in every school during placement. But then, still does not be the thought of we need to have a higher percentage coming from our region to join these schools as much as others are coming from. So we need to, in all fairness, here, Mr. Bima, we need to have.
But I think
a percentage, the majority needs to come from that local
Yeah.
area.
No, but then if you oh sorry, Biko, go
But I
ahead.
think, me, perhaps my approach is a bit lukewarm, especially as it pertains to what the former deputy president said. When you look at education, actually the management of education, the buck stops with the government. They do the policy, they do the management, they do the development of schools. So I think any leader or any Kenyan who is concerned about the quality of education in our country, if at all someone feels that there is a bit of unjust behavior or the government doesn't have fairness in terms of placement, then they should come up with data.
Yeah.
Or evidence to show,
Justification.
or some form of substantiation to show that actually the government is being biased or the government is leaning towards one side. Because to me, that is
Without justification.
exactly that is a good place to start this conversation. Otherwise, now it's like sometimes
Without
we
any
risk the
speculation, but
no,
there's
we risk being engaging in conjecture,
exactly.
which is basically. It's not helping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It isn't.
So
It
I
isn't,
wish
yeah.
maybe
Kinda guesswork.
or guesswork. I wish
We
they
don't
would
have
have
the
said
facts.
something like, "We have this data. This is the scientific research says that the government is being unjust in terms of maybe distributing students from one tribe, and maybe they're geared towards a better school. Something like that. Then the conversation should start from there." But right now, it's very subjective. You really don't know what he meant. Or rather, maybe he was just making a political statement. Who knows?
He might be making a political statement. Given we are in the year of politics, that may not miss out. Actually, being a politician, that doesn't miss out. But then again, another angle we can check this. This brings in the idea of we need to put our leaders from our regions to task. Yeah, and we need to have development. Schools
Completely.
need to be built.
Exactly.
Do you know the location that is done to the members of parliament in CDF sector is a lot?
It's ridiculous.
And we need to have high-end schools in our
exactly.
regions.
That money needs to be justified.
It needs to be justified.
It needs to be accounted for. In fact.
Yeah, so this
Because it's already been given out. So
this
now,
topic
where does it go?
that the former deputy president was bringing is not that shallow. It is deep. And it does make sense. We need to discuss development in any level, be it education level, be it in constituency level. We need to have discussions. Such discussions are very healthy.
I think the biggest question is why aren't some schools at par with especially government schools which have received a lot of funding? Why aren't they at par with the average government school?
Yeah.
You see, why do we have schools that they have holes in the wall? The walls are made out of mud.
Yeah.
Some kids are sitting underneath trees.
Yes.
I mean,
a discussion.
We talk about devolution. The word devolution is supposed to be like the breaking down of services and then services coming out to the grassroots. But also devolution could be like going backwards. Are we in this devolution? Tunarudi nyuma, are we?
Tunasonga mbele.
So exactly.
One step forward, 10 steps back.
Exactly.
Kind of
No, one thing I don't want any leader to cover up is this aspect of saying that those guys who are given opportunity, then and of course that might be it's a 50-50 thing. We can't say others said an early run. So
Now
given
we can't catch up.
we can't catch up with them. No. With this 2010 constitution that was brought forward, everyone is given a fair chance. It's a fair play.
Completely.
So failure to have best education facilities in your region
Is
is not
not an
because of
excuse.
others are favored than you
no.
is
That's-
not an excuse in this
No,
matter.
the
It's
funds
because
are
ni
there.
wewe hujafanya kazi yako.
Commitment of the funds
Yes.
and
Why are your people? Why if you feel bad?
accountability.
If I feel bad, the deputy president spoke bad about my community, about my tribe, then I need to better my tribe. Let me up my game. Let me make things look better, so that now when we are brought on the national platform and say, my region, yes, you say your region has got this, and this. Even our region has this. And let's talk about national outlook. Our schools around this area have got people from your region, which means because we compare in terms of facilities. But if facilities are lacking this side, then still there's no way you can challenge the former deputy president in whatever he said. But then still debatable.
But I
It
think
may be political.
I think the former deputy president will be giving you a call soon. You're doing a good advocate.
Not really.
no, but the
Oh, man, you're
conversation,
doing a good job.
the conversation should be very progressive because, in as much as inequality is a vice in our Kenyan in our Kenyan
Divide
society,
and rule.
yeah, so we acknowledge that, and even personally, my opinion is there's a lot of disparity when it comes to education sector in our country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially when you look at it, even not from a tribal point of view, even from a rural-urban kind of setup, whereby you'll be able to see that in urban areas, the quality of schools there are a bit more advanced than rural areas. So the variables are so many. It's not only tribe.
It's not
so
only tribe, yeah.
The most important thing is all government entities have allocations that go into improving the quality of education, be it the national government, be it the county government. So the question Kenyans should be asking is, be that as it may, that we acknowledge we have inequality.
Yes.
In your own small government entity or the small mandate that you've been given, are you doing what you're supposed to do? Then I think we can be able to move forward as we also try to bridge the gap of inequality between
I agree. I agree
schools.
with you. 100%.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, guys, education in the modern world.
Yes.
Now, we've got a lot of online education, and I think online education has bridged the gap also.
Yeah.
Because you see, before, we've been taught that the world is round. But now, may I say the world is flat? Because you don't need to go and be sitting in a classroom, let's say in Harvard. They have online lessons, online classes. You can be sitting here in Kisumu with your bundles, you're doing online classes, and you'll still be able to get the same courses and lessons that they're being taught in Harvard University.
Yes.
10,000 miles away.
Yeah, that's true.
So you see, education in the modern world also has made the world flat. You know, everybody is given a chance. So long as you've got access to good internet, and okay, I suppose you need some funds, but it's cheaper than what was before, because before your parents would have to have a fundraising for you to go abroad and stuff like that. Then they would have to pay for your accommodation, and then plus your classes and all that. So it was quite a big expense. But now online education has more than halved those expenses.
And I agree with you that technology has made the world. Now that actually not flat,
It
but I
has
can
made the
say
world flat.
it's a small village. Let me say it has made the world a small village.
The world is flat.
The world a small village. Yeah, it has made the world a small. But then my worry still goes to those who are far away from accessing these resources in our country. We have friends who've traveled. Nikon, friend who has traveled, he actually works off these major towns. He goes to those as far as Lord and those other regions. Then there comes a tells you a story that you guys, we are, if you may wonder whether that is Kenya.
Fair
Are you
enough.
getting? So if when you talk about technology and then the way education is easily accessible, my concern now still runs to those. You see, now that's what I'm saying. The discussion that we are still having about the deputy president still comes back to that thing you're saying. There are persons who are off. There are persons who you call themselves Kenyans. They call themselves Kenyans. But you know,
they're in
these
a
guys,
different
yes,
world.
when they hear you say that you can access education that easily from a gadget, they're just wondering from which planet did you come from?
Yeah.
Are you getting? You get to that place, you even wonder whether you are in Kenya.
Yeah.
What did they need to do right to this education thing? That even if CBC is being devolved, and then it's being practiced all over, we all get an equal share in this education thing.
True.
Yeah, if
I think
Because
there needs to be accountability.
Yeah, I'm crying for
Back
countries
to
like.
what Biko was saying is accountability, because there are funds that are there that have been allocated
Yes.
for these services, the CBC and all, but there's no accountability. Even you said it.
Yes.
In fact, hundreds of millions. You know, I mean, if you look at what they get, we'll be talking about at least close to $500 million from between the MCAs. There's the MCAs, there's governors, and the MPs who get those CBC funds.
Yes.
So where does that money go?
Where does money go? But then I celebrate our president. He's tried. This government has really tried. You can remember that immediately he took over power, the current president. He aliweka in place. Actually, it's the first time that he gave an opportunity to teachers. Yeah. He employed the highest number of teachers that have ever been employed before since time memorial. Actually, since time the first government that was put in place. This is our government. This current government that have employed the largest number of teachers actually to help bridge that gap of we can say the tough insufficiency. Pupil teacher ratio. Wamejaribu sana, though it's very expensive, I know. But still with that, another thing that is really tried is to make sure that education is properly funded. I can see that even though to that not extent, that extent that is expected, but he has really tried.
There are funds.
We need to this thing needs to be it needs to be trickled down even to the leadership, to the constituency level, to the ward level. I really need these MCAs. I don't need to see an MCA in Kisumu doing a nice road, doing a nice school, or an MP or an MP of a region doing some very high-end schools floating about them, while an MP in Garissa or an MP in Baringo is not doing the same thing, and they are all being done for allocation.
Everybody's receiving those funds.
Yeah, you know the government right now. The president's motto today, and I know you might agree with me or disagree. His motto here that we are going Singapore way. If we are going Singapore way, then every part of this country needs to be at par. All of us need to have the best.
Exactly.
All of us. And I love that his principle that he's coming in with. He has said that every part of this nation needs to enjoy. Lazima, kila mse, we have to share.
It's a good idea.
Yes.
But right now it seems like a pipe dream in the sense that implementation is a bit of a problem because there's no accountability.
Yeah,
accountability needs to be there. If the funds are allocated for XYZ, then there should be accountability.
Yes.
Like in the corporate world, if you're given money to go and do a certain job and you don't
do it,
they get rid of you. In
yes,
fact,
they get rid of you.
You know, you could be charged.
You don't even wait. You resign.
Exactly. You resign and you can even be charged.
You will be charged. Yes.
You see, so we should have a zero tolerance for corruption.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
Same thing that's happening in Rwanda. Rwanda, they have zero tolerance for corruption, and so a lot of the projects they implement do go through. Now, I think we're getting close to having our break. So I think if you have any things that you want, any last thing
just for maybe I can just say for perspective purposes, we are just giving constructive criticism, obviously.
Yeah.
Because just even to throw in some statistics, for example, our education system, our Kenyan education system was voted the best in Africa.
Okay, so that's something to be said.
Yeah, that's something
to be said. I mean, as much as we Kenyans like to give out, but we have to give out.
We have to.
But we like to give out. We're never satisfied.
We have to criticize so that at least we can be able to have an improved country and pretty much our education sector.
No, just on that note, I also I was following through in the social media space that we were having that we also voted the best English speaking nation.
I would agree with that. You know,
third best.
You know, a couple of years back, I remember. In fact, the beginning of this millennia, there's so many call centers that are coming up. In fact, around Mombasa Road. And you see, like the West, if you're in Europe and you phone your bank and let's say you want to discuss maybe something about your bank card and everything, they put you directly through a call service.
Okay.
So those call centers, first of all, they used to originate from India. But then they stopped using the call centers in India because of the Indian accent. It was a bit too strong and the customers couldn't understand what was going on. So they came and used Kenyan call centers because our English and our accent is easier to understand for Western nations. So with that note, our English is actually quite good. We can be understood on an international level.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And not
That
for
is true.
anything, because most of the times when you say our English is good, people mistake it to be that we mean that we are educated. Because good English does not necessarily mean that
you're
we're educated.
No.
Yeah.
But it's an indication
It's an indication that
that we
English
have
is
an
English.
ability.
To speak English.
Exactly. We have that ability.
to express yourself. Then education is playing a major role, which means we've invested, the government has very rightly
Absolutely.
in our education sector.
So, gentlemen,
Yes.
I like to say that this is just not a podcast.
Well,
It's a movement, man.
It's a
Exactly.
movement.
It's
Yeah.
a movement.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Now, I think education should be more a right. It is your right as a member of a sovereign state to be educated and to be educated in the best and most convenient and most tangible form today. With that said, you should be given an education that gives you proper critical thinking skills. Unfortunately, some education systems do not let the children think outside the box. So my take on education is that the skills that the children learn in class are not necessarily the jobs they're going to get in the future. In fact, the jobs that they're going to get in future are jobs they themselves are going to create.
Yep.
Biko?
Yeah, I think my parting shot is I'll echo from what my co-host has said. But just by learning from the pillars of education by UNESCO, whereby I urge our government to create a platform that can enable Kenyans to have a holistic approach when it comes to education. And I think also education should extend in our homes, in our churches, in all our social gatherings. Let us not limit education just in the classroom. And that way we can be able to improve our society. We can be able to come up with ideas on how we can compete even on a global stage. And most importantly also, the government, because they have the mandate, and personally this is my strong opinion, because development of education in our country, it starts with the government, because they have the mandate through taxes. They also have the budget to give us quality education. So they should be very keen on being able to create an environment whereby all Kenyans of whatever tribe or whatever affiliation can be able to enjoy and have quality education.
Well said.
Yeah, guys, my parting shot. I want to urge all of us. Gen Zs, those who walifanya mtihani ilikuwa imereleasiwa few hours ago. Guys, let's know that is just the beginning. Education is key in our lives. There's nothing that comes easy. Hakuna story ya nimemaliza for now I just need to start looking for money.
No.
Money comes with education. You need to be educated in one line. So tukue tukijua ukimaliza form 4, you start for your exam na ulipata result, no matter the result ulikuwa umepata, guys know that you can still make it from there.
Yep.
Hakuna vile unasema ati let nobody discourage you and tell you now ile result ulipata does not guarantee you to get to the next level.
Yep.
Life is different from grades. Life is different from anything else, but it's purely personality and the desire to succeed. Something else I will need to finalize with again is the fact that now those of us who have also wamaliza shule, please find something to do. Remember, we are saying education is an empowerment. It gives you a canoe that elevates to the next level. Say you are aware of your environment, you know what you want, you studied, no matter the course, when a plumber, ulifanya building and construction, whatever the course you did, it still falls under this education thing we were discussing, but no, you can still succeed in life. Yeah? In that line that ukomesoma. Just look for something that can propel you up, but there's nothing that is easy. Everything must start, you must start from grassroots to the what? To the top.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Azage, and thank you, Biko. And for myself, Ombima, once again, this is not a podcast.
Right.
This is a movement, guys.
This is a movement.
Yes.